Merry meet, guys. Welcome back to Witches of the Moon. I am your Wednesday host, Houston, and this week, week 2, we are talking about candle and mirror scrying. I wanted to go over some of my techniques that I do and different things you can do to candle scry or mirror scry. If you guys haven't already seen Jen and Natalie's video, they are up, and they do have some pretty cool content. They went over a lot, so I highly suggest that you guys go and check out their videos. So what I want to go over first, I'm not going to give a definition of candles or mirror scrying. I'll do that first. I'm not going to give that. Natalie gave a great definition overview of that. I wanted to talk about how I do it and what other applications I use my mirror for. So how I do mirror scrying is, I do have a black mirror that I made that's from a picture frame I got from Dollar Tree. I added a sealant first, then some glitter, black spray paint, and then did another layer of black spray paint, then sealant after it was dry. And then basically put it in the frame. I haven't decorated the frame yet, but it's very simple. There's tons of videos on YouTube on how to make them, and you don't have to, if you want to, you can. I'm not going to say don't go buy an obsidian mirror or a black scrying mirror that someone made, that's their business. But I'm saying it's super simple for you to make one. So how I use it is, I have to work it up in my head, is I do have a candle. I put one candle to the side, so I have the mirror here and a candle to the side, right in front of it, like off a little bit. So the reflection's hitting me, but it's not really hitting, like the light's hitting it, the reflection of the flame is not hitting the glass itself. I found that to be the best way for me to scry into a mirror. One of my tips with scrying is don't look at the surface, look past the surface. No, that doesn't really make sense, but like I said in my crystal scrying video, if you look at the surface of the crystal ball, you'll get distracted by the images of, your reflection coming back. So you need to look through the object you're trying to scry through on. Another thing that I like to do with my mirror, of course, is send backs. Makes any sense? Return to senders. With that, you get a simple mirror, get a cheap one at Dollar General, Dollar Tree, and you put the person's name face down on a piece of paper, or whoever sent the energy to you. If you don't know, just write to whomever sent this, or something of that effect. Put it face down on the mirror, put a candle on top of it, charge the candle to send the energy back that was sent to you, and voila. The mirror magnifies the magic and sends it back out. Another way that I like to use my magic mirror, the scrying mirror that I have, I'm not really scrying to get communication, I'm scrying as a tool to heal. So what I do is I set it up like I usually do. I get a person that asked for healing, or I know is going through a tough time, and they ask for prayers. I pull them up in my mind, and I kind of project them with my mind into the mirror. And then I will use the mirror as a tool for visualization. So it's kind of like a tool to put me into a trance to where I can send healing energies. It's not necessary to do that. It's not necessary for me to use the tool. I could, meditate and do it without the tool, but I do find it fun to use my mirror that way. So I think that's it for the mirror scrying and the mirror magic. Yeah. So now on to candle scrying here. Candle magic, of course. One of the cool ways when I first started scrying with a candle, I didn't use just one candle, I used 3. So I found a way in, I think it was the Divination for Beginners by Webster. I think so. I think that's what his name is. The divination for beginners, it could be Brim Buckland. I really don't, I don't know, but it's a for a beginner's book. It talks about a type of pyromancy that uses 3 candles instead of 1. You would have the candle set up into a triangle formation, like that, 1 in the front, 2 in the back, and you would set your magic space, charge the candles to answer your questions truthfully. I do suggest putting them in a candle holder and have something underneath, because these could be long sessions. What my notes were, I kind of went off personal experience when I felt. You ask a question out loud to the candle and watch the flames. So if two flames go, if they dance to the left and one dances to the right, it's predominantly left. What does left mean for you? For me, left means no, because I'm right-handed. So if 2 flames go to the right and 1 doesn't, or they all go to the right, that's a yes. If 2 go to the right, it's a yes. But if there's a mix mash, if they don't move at all, if they sputter and go out, that could be a no. These are kind of yes and no questions, almost like a pendulum reading. There's different ways to read the candle, yes and no. But it could also give you a lot more information, just like a pendulum could. Whereas, let's say you ask a question and one of the candles starts smoking really heavily, but just 1. So that can mean that there could be 1 obstacle in your path. There could be someone trying to get in touch with you, someone trying to interfere. If they all started smoking, I would take this as kind of a bad omen, but that's just, use your intuition when you go about that. That's one of the more fun ones. I'm not saying that scrying into 1 candle is not fun. I mean, it can be. But this one, you can let your mind relax, and you don't really have to stare at the flame. You watch the flames dance. So you're not like intently staring. You're sitting back with a notebook or something to when you ask questions, to record the answer. 2 candles left, 1 candle kind of went down, 1 sparked up. And you have to come up with your own answers. I think the author talked about their answers, but I think testing it out, and I go with left means no, right means yes, because I'm right-handed. So, I mean, if that's for you, if it's opposite for you, then kind of experiment. One other way to candle scry, another form of pyromancy, is through wax. The interpretation of wax images. So what you do with this, or how you do this, is you get a candle. It can be new, it can be used. You can get a candle just for this type of divination. Doesn't matter the color. That's up to you. And then you want to get either a bowl of cold water or oil. I like to use water because it's not as expensive as oil can be. And I'm not saying, you can use olive oil if you want to. That's one of the cheapest oils around, but I would say use room temperature to cold water, and have a bowl right beside, where you're going to look. I think it's called sepnomancy, I think. The word popped in my head, so I'm going to go with that. It's probably not. I know Mancy's at the end of it, and I think it starts with a C, but I don't know what it actually is at the moment. But what you do is you hold the candle in your predominant hand, so mine would be my right hand, and you light it, and you think of the question. You let the candle burn down for a little bit, and then you tilt the candle over the bowl of water until wax drops in, and then you put the candle down and blow it out. And then you interpret the images that the wax created in the water for signs and omens and things like that. That's a very fun one, especially to experiment. I'm a huge fan of experimentation with different divination methods. Let's see if there's another one. Talking about fire, it's not really a candle magic, but tis the season for bonfires. If you want to know a particular question, or if you want to scry using a bonfire, it's kind of the same thing as a candle. Of course, don't get too close. You can just let your gaze focus on the fire and kind of fizzle out and go into a trance that way. Have a question in mind, gaze into the fire, and see what comes to you. Like every other scrying attempt, don't expect something on your first try. Don't really expect anything. Expectation, in my experience, leads to failure, because I'm expecting something to happen. You don't need to expect, you just need to let it happen. Now with the bonfire, I'm going a bit further. You can add sacred herbs, you can add a sage bundle. A lot of people use sage bundles to get rid of mosquitoes. You can also use chemical colorants. They sell those at Lowe's. I would follow the instructions for safety on those. I haven't used them in a while, so I couldn't really tell you the safety on those. But if you wanted to change the color of the fire, to add a magical intention to your night, to Yule, or if you have a bonfire with family, to add more fun and festive colors, you can use that. Nothing really to do with divination or candle scrying, but I think I'm going to end that here. So I want to wish those who celebrate Thanksgiving a happy Thanksgiving. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this video, please leave them down below for me in the comment section. And I will see you guys next week. Many blessings.